So today I'm just going to run through some FAQs on the catalog, and these are the 3 questions that we get asked in cataloging probably most frequently, and they are how to circulate parts or items separately when they belong to the same title record, and how to find all of something, whether it's DVDs or puppets or whatever, and those relate to the collection headings that we have in the catalog, and then also finding the Dewey number when it's not listed on the call number and item screen in the catalog. So those are kind of the most frequently asked topics that we get. So I'm going to run through those today for you. All right, so the first one is how to set up parts to circulate separately when they share a title record. And how we do that is by using a formatting, a little function in the call number item screen when you enter a call number, which is a symbol plus Z. And that symbol is the delimiter or pipe or dagger. You may have heard it referred to in different ways. And it lives above it's right above the backslash key on your keyboard. So that delimiter plus a Z will help you to set off different parts on your call numbers. So it's used for things like the movie combo packs, for multi-volume works, annual publication, anything where we have multiple editions on a title record, but you need the parts to circulate separately. So more examples are when you have annual publications, like the vocational guides, the college guides, subsequent editions and years added to one record. The stamp catalogs are a really good example where they have alphabetical and numerical entries, but everything shares a title record. So we need a way to set that off. The graphic novels and manga are another example where we have, say, all of the Spider-Man, or we have all of the Naruto. They're on one record, but you need to set off the separate volumes. So you'd have your call number, dagger Z, and then the volume, which we enter by putting in V period space and the number. And also for sets of DVDs, there tends to be some box sets of things. I think the example I gave at Collection Services was like Bond movies, the Daniel Craig James Bond films. Say you have a box set with the different titles, so it ends up being one title record because they don't have individual UPCs or ISBNs, but you want to circulate the different films separately. So you'd set off the different pieces with that dagger Z. And I think generally most of the libraries have a really easy time doing this, and we don't find a lot of issues using that, especially with the graphic novels, the annual publications. I think you're all very used to that formatting, and it hasn't been a problem. The one thing that we've run into, though, time and time again, is the combo packs. So we need to make sure that we're all using them when we have the movie combo pack records. And those are those movies that are issued with the DVD and the Blu-ray within one package. So then it shares a case and the packaging and an ISBN, a UPC. So they mean that there's one title record for that item, but you may want to circulate them separately to get more bang for your buck. And that's no problem. You're just going to need to remember to use that dagger Z on the call number and item screen for that. And the important thing to remember is using consistent vocabulary across the board. So if you just want to send out your combo pack with together as it is, that's no problem. But after your call number, you'll put the dagger or delimiter Z combo. And likewise, if you're going to split it up, you'd use either DVD or Blu-ray, which is BLU-RAY. So we just want to make sure we're using the consistent terminology. And the reason that we do that, both for combo packs and for anything else, is to give our patrons a choice in the catalog. So on the left side here is what we see in workflows. Everybody's got their call numbers in the different ways that they choose to format them. with call numbers and call letters, and maybe there's accession numbers, whatever you need to use for your location. But then following that, you'd put that delimiter symbol Z, and then you would enter whatever it is for that specific scenario. Like I said, for the graphic novels, it would be V period space and the number. And for the combo packs here, this is an example. So we have people that have entered DVD or Blu-ray and to specify what they're circulating. And this is really important for patrons so that on the right-hand side, when we get into enterprise, they can see the different entries, but they wouldn't have a way to facilitate placing a hold on a specific format unless you specify it. And then what happens when you do is they get a drop-down menu when they go to place a hold. So they click place hold, and then it will ask them what volume. And right here, since everybody has entered in what specific format their disc is, they have a choice. They can choose whether they want the Blu-ray or the DVD, which is important because we have heard the horror stories in the past. Someone gets a Blu-ray, but they only have a DVD player. So we just want to do that for the patrons. And then they can select from the drop-down menu and place their hold. There are problems that arise when we don't consistently apply this across all of the entries in these combo pack records. If only one or some of the entries are defined, and again, this also applies to graphic novels, to stamp catalogs, anything like that, a magazine. If only one or some of the entries are defined for some of the libraries, but not all of them, what it does to the patrons is that it creates a blank space as a choice. So in this particular example, there's it's a combo pack, but only one of the libraries has used the delimiter Z formatting to specify what they're circulating. So what the patron sees when they go to place the hold in Enterprise, it does give them the drop-down menu, but one of the spaces is blank. And that is actually a choice, but if I'm the patron and I don't know the inner workings of this, they may think that's not a choice. They may not know that combo is the choice because they just see a blank entry. So it makes it very confusing for them if we don't do our part to consistently apply that. Another problem would be, even if everybody in our library communities, doing their due diligence, they've put in what format it is, everybody's entered either Blu-ray or combo or DVD, but if we don't consistently utilize it the same way, it will create out a separate entry. So in this example, everybody's done their part. They've defined which format they're circulating, but if you don't put the delimiter Z at the very end with no other characters following that choice, it will split it out. So in this example, everybody's put in the Blu-ray combo or DVD, but then someone put animation after that formatting piece instead of before. So it split it out to a separate choice. And that's a problem because then the patron has to choose whether they want Blu-ray or Blu-ray animation. So it's going to affect your holds because they're either putting holds on only the Blu-ray copy or only one person's Blu-ray by checking the animation entry. So again, I think everyone's had a really good time using the Dagger Z in other applications. I don't think it's been too much of a problem. We've been pretty comfortable with it, but the combo packs is what we've found to be an issue. And also we've gotten the questions of, the multiple discs, multiple movies in one set, and how we can circulate things separately on the same title record. So that was one thing I wanted to go over, just to tell you that it's possible. The next thing I wanted to run through for you was the collection headings, which are a 690 field in our records. A lot of times we'll have people ask how they can find all of the one certain type of format, whether it's puppets or DVDs or anything that's library professional materials or things in one language. So using the collection headings, you can search for these, will help you figure out how you find all of that certain thing. So we maintain a list. We maintain a list of consistently applied terms for all like editions, collections, languages, and types of items. And this is the list here. We did go over this at the collection services meeting, so this whole list is in the notes for that, which was sent out to the full list today. So if you got those notes from Megan, they went out to the whole 4CLS list. This 690 list, the local collection headings, is right on there, so you all have access to that as well. So we have our collections on the left, whether it's attractions and experiences, which is one of our newer ones, audio-enabled books, which is brand new, to the large collections like the large print, the DVDs, and then we also have the language editions. So these are both keyword and subject searchable in workflows, and they're also a search facet in Enterprise. So you can go ahead and search for these when you're in workflows. That's the left-hand side of the screen. I typed in attractions, experiences, collections, and I came up with everything that we have in that grouping. If you are wanting to look at where this is in the bib record, under the bibliographic tab, if you scroll down the mark fields there, it's 690. You'll see it typed out in the records there. In Enterprise, I think it's helpful for patrons that it's a search facet on the left-hand side. So where they could also choose library or subject and all that, there is a local collection facet. And if you click on view all, they can scroll down and see all the ones that are available there. And they are listed in the records. It'll say local collection and whatever it happens to be, but they're not hyperlinked, so they're not connected in that way. But I think this is helpful if they want to do a combination search. They want to search for maybe all of the large print books that are historical fiction, something like that would be easily done by utilizing the search facet here. And also, you can use it in your own libraries to find everything that you have if you use either in workflows or in Enterprise. If you search for your library and large print editions or DVD collections, something like that will help you get a whole list, which can sometimes be more thorough than looking for like an item type on your call number item screen, where occasionally things get put in incorrectly. We do endeavor to put these headings into all of the records. They apply to consistently across the catalog for all the items that are coming in. So this should be a comprehensive list when you're searching for these. And I wanted to bring that up too, because I think that the local collections are a little bit underused or undervalued in Enterprise for our patrons. And I think it's a really helpful search tool. And then lastly,
Sorry, Emily, there was a question. Is there a printout with a step-by-step for the formatting available? And I think that refers to your first topic, the Dagger Z.
We don't really have a printout, but it should be in the notes for that collection services meeting also that went out this morning. So if you check out those notes, that should be in there. And additionally, we can create some more documentation on that. There is a forthcoming cataloging LibGuide that will be going up, and that kind of information will be in there too, so you can just reference that whenever you need as well. So the last thing I want to run through is finding the Dewey number. We get asked this a lot. So with a lot of the records being imported through direct order now, the Dewey Decimal Classification number, it doesn't always populate the call number field on the service record that's created. So when those batches are brought in, the call numbers don't end up in the service record that's automatically generated. So then you won't see it on the call number item screen. But usually there is a Dewey number in the record. You just need to know where to search for that information. So on the left side here, we have the search pane. And if you have that preview screen enabled there on the bottom, it's very explicitly labeled Dewey Decimal Classification Number. So if you were doing a search for a title, and as long as you highlight that entry, you can see right on the preview screen all the different fields that are specified. It will say right there, Dewey Decimal Classification Number, and it will label that it's right there. And if you just are in a record, make sure you go into the bibliographic tab of that title. So here we're in the bibliographic tab, and this is the same record that's on the left-hand side. And just to find the Dewey number in this screen view, you want to pay attention to the mark tags that run down the left-hand side of that screen. So they're the numerical tags that say what each field relates to. And 082, the 082 field, is the one that specifies the Dewey Decimal Classification. So we just scan our way down to 082, and over here would be the Dewey number for this record that we'd want to use. So using the 082 field, the numbers that follow the decimal point may be subdivided by like a forward slash. You just ignore that. You omit that when you're copying it out. It's a built number from different tables or different subjects put together. So this whole number is 599.366. We just skip the slash if we were recording it on the call number item screen. And at Fort County, when we're assigning the Dewey numbers onto the call number and item screen, our policy is to only assign through 4 digits past the decimal point. And that's simply for space concern on the spine label. That's not to abbreviate the numbers necessarily for any other reason, but we only go to 4 digits past the decimal point. You may have a different system in your library where you only go to 2, or you want as many numbers as possible to be as specific. That's fine. But so if you see things coming from us or assigned on the call number item screen, that's why we stop at 4 digits. And that number is everything up until you see the delimiter symbol again. Just like we talked about the dagger Z, here's a dagger 2. And you can consider it a wall in this scenario. The number is everything up until you hit that wall. And then that's a different subfield. And if you're curious, that's the subfield that displays the addition of Dewey used to create the number. It's not part of the Dewey number that you'll need for your call number on the call number item screen. And you may have noticed, if you've been paying attention to some of the newer books that have been coming in, there's a lot of numbers that have been coming in. They're long now. The dagger 2, as in the previous example, used to be followed by only 2 numerical digits. You'd see it say delimiter 214, delimiter 222, delimiter 223. So it used to correspond to the print edition of Dewey that was used, but Dewey stopped it at the 23rd edition being considered the print edition. So now it's updated in the online schedules, and the Dewey print edition is just print on demand based on online. So the recent works are displaying the date that the schedules were referenced online when the number was assigned. So they've stopped at delimiter 223 and then added a bunch of jargon after this, meaning that it was the English edition online, and then it was, in this example, July 5th of this year. So if you're seeing the extended information and the call numbers that are coming on the service records, that's what all of that is. You can just ignore all of that. In this specific example, we have an extinction event. 576.84 is the only part of the number that you need, and the SIMO entry has utilized that. But that being said, occasionally the Dewey number is actually missing from the bib record. It does happen. So if you are looking for a Dewey number and it's still absent, just send us an email. We're happy to supply you with the correct Dewey number for your work. Direct ordering has become the most common means of record importation for the system now. So because everything's done in a batch, sometimes the book records don't have a Dewey number present in them, and we miss it since we don't have the book in hand that we're trying to process like we used to. So if you do have one that doesn't have a Dewey number, once you've done your part and looked in the title record, go ahead and send an email. We're happy to supply one.